Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about Halloween 5 The Revenge of Michael Myers. First of all, I want to welcome you all to my channel on YouTube. I'm new here, so be kind. You probably won't be, well, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, Halloween 5 The Revenge of Michael Myers, released in 1989, just after Halloween 4 1988. Was it released too soon? Yes, it was. From what I get, Halloween 5 is not the most loved movie in the franchise. Now, I'm not here to say it's the greatest movie ever, it's the greatest movie in the Halloween franchise. I'm not even here to say it's a good movie, okay? I mean, you may love it. You may think this film is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't know. You may do. I personally don't. However, I do think there are redeeming qualities in Halloween 5 that make it more than watchable. I don't think it's a strong entry in the Halloween franchise whatsoever. However, I do think there are enough redeeming qualities about Halloween 5 to make it, like I say, an enjoyable movie experience, whatever. And I'm going to go through them bit by bit, and admittedly there are not many to talk about, but I think there are some that are worth talking about that I don't think many YouTubers do. Maybe I'm looking at in the wrong places, folks, I don't know. But let's start at the beginning. I love the opening scene to Halloween 5. I really do. It's the carving of the pumpkin. You probably know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen the film. If you're watching this video, hey, Cortishera. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen Halloween 5. So you know what I'm talking about. When I say the opening to the film, I'm talking about the carving of the pumpkin. And the first time I saw that, I was like, I was very young, probably about 12, 13 years old. And I was like, it's a little bit different. And I watched it. I was really surprised. It was gutsy. It was different. It was unusual. You know, it hadn't been seen before. That doesn't necessarily make it great, but what I do think is it's original. And at first, when I first saw it, I didn't know exactly what was going on. I actually, like I said, I didn't know it was the carving of a jack-o'-lantern. But when you see the finished product, you obviously see what's happening, and I love that scene. I love the opening to Halloween 5. I think it's original, I think it's solid, and I enjoy watching the opening to Halloween 5. I really do. Comment down below and let me know what you think about the opening to Halloween 5 and the carving of the pumpkin, and we slowly hear the classic John Carpenter music. If I remember rightly, that's what we hear, and then it fades into the end of Halloween 4, which was admittedly a much better movie, in my personal opinion. I'm not going to keep on saying in my personal opinion, because that's what it's about. Movies are all about personal opinions. I'm not here to say, hey, you're wrong in hating Halloween 5. I'm not here to say you're right in loving Halloween 5. I'm just giving my own opinion about the redeeming factors, the redeeming qualities of Halloween 5. Number 2, the soundtrack. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, was the first Halloween movie to have a soundtrack. Now, I'm not talking about the score. We all know the John Carpenter classic music, the score. They all had those. Even Halloween 3 had an album, probably. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe Halloween 5 was the first of the franchise to have a soundtrack. And when I say soundtrack, I mean songs, rather than just a score. I'm not dissing the score. We all love the John Carpenter score, and Alan Howarth, or Howarth I think his name is, he did a great job with the score to the Halloween series. But Halloween 5 had a soundtrack, and I have the CD, I have the soundtrack album myself, and I don't listen to it that often, but a song that I do kind of tend to revisit quite a lot is Romeo Romeo. Now, I can't remember who sings it, but if you're familiar with the soundtrack and familiar with the movie, you'll know, you're probably, if you don't remember it, by all means, please Google it, YouTube it, whatever, Type in Romeo Romeo Halloween 5. Oh, yeah, that wasn't bad. That was pretty good. That was a catchy tune. It's right in the scene where Rachel's just about to get into the shower or something. She's on her way to the shower, and we see, basically we see the record turning, and it's playing that classic, brilliant, classic's probably too strong a word, but we hear Romeo Romeo. And there's also a song on the soundtrack called Anything for Money. Now again, I don't remember the artist, but I do remember thinking, hey, that's a catchy tune. And there's a few more. Now if I'm wrong, and Halloween 4 has a soundtrack, music, songs, rather than just a score, please correct me on that. But I love the Halloween 5 soundtrack, and I do believe it was the first one to have one. The first Halloween movie to have a soundtrack rather than just a score. Also, if you see me doing this, I'm using, as you can probably tell, very primitive video recording footage. Hopefully you can see me okay. Hopefully I'm looking into the camera. If I'm slightly off one way or the other, please forgive me. I'm starting out, I'm new. So what next? I've gone, the opening of Halloween 5 is great. I think the soundtrack is great. What next? Well, let's talk about not the mask, because I actually personally feel it's the worst mask in it. Excuse me. I actually think the mask in Halloween 5 is awful. Now, you may love it, you may agree with me and say, yep, it's the worst one, apart from Rob Zombie's H2. I mean, that was just complete crap. In my opinion. I said it again, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about opinions. And my opinion on Halloween 5. I want to talk about the redeeming qualities. The mask is not one of them. The guy, however, who played Michael Myers in this movie, Don Shanks, as you probably already know, I think he did a pretty good job. He's a redeeming quality in Halloween 5. There's a lot of stunt guys out there who may not have done the job he did. They may have done a better job. Who knows? But I do believe Don Shanks was a pretty good shape. I think he's overlooked. I mean, we can all talk about Nick Castle and from number 1, and Dick Warlock from number 2, and George P. Wilbur from 4 and 6, I believe. I do think Don Shanks is overlooked a hell of a lot, and I think he portrays the shape in a pretty creepy, menacing way, and he's certainly a big guy, but not too big. Not, what's the guy who played Myers in Zombies film? Was it Tyler Mane? Too big. And in H2 the mask was dreadful. So, Don Shanks, yeah, I think he's a pretty good shape. I think he's okay. It's just a shame. I don't know if it's cinematography or the way the film was filmed. We don't see him even on Blu-ray. I mean, I've got the Blu-ray somewhere, but we don't see Don Shanks as much as what I would have liked to have seen him as the shape. But when we do see him, I think he's good. I think he's solid. Not as good as this guy, in my opinion, Nick Castle. I mean, he's considered the king, right? Am I right? Yep. This guy, Nick Castle, as you can see, I don't want to show off my belly. I don't think you want to see that. Halloween, 1978. Nick Castle, greatest shape ever, in my opinion. My humble opinion. So, let's go on with Halloween 5 and the pros of Halloween 5. What next? We've done the opening, the soundtrack, Don Shanks, pretty decent shape. Not the greatest shape, not the greatest portrayal of Michael Myers, but a pretty good one. And what's next? Not much. I should have made more notes, shouldn't I? Let's talk about the very end of the movie. Well, not the very end, but the final act, as it were. If you remember, there's a scene where they've captured Michael Myers, Donald Pleasance, Sam Loomis has, they've managed to tranquilize Myers, and there's a scene where we see Michael Myers inside a jail cell. Boy, has that scene not been liked by a lot of YouTubers that I've seen. Are you one of them? Anyway, I happen to love it. I think it's weird, I think it's eerie, I think it's creepy. Do they humanize the character of Michael Myers by doing that with that scene, yeah. But you gotta remember, he is human with supernatural qualities, right? He is a human being with supernatural qualities. If we were to see Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees in a jail cell, I would be saying, what the hell is this? You know, this... No. You do not put Freddy or Jason in a jail cell. Michael Myers, because they're very supernatural, aren't they? Now, I mean, I could go off on a tangent and talk about Friday the 13th 2 and how Jason was a little bit more human and in 3 and maybe even in 4. But then after number 5, and you know, when it got to number 6, Jason was a very supernatural element. So to see him in a jail cell would have been ridiculous. Michael, I think, I like the scene. And he's sitting there with his head down, he's handcuffed. I love it. I love it. I think it's different. I think it's good. You know, I'm not saying different is always good, because it's not. But I think that scene in particular is cool. It's cool. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on too much about Halloween 5. I just wanted to point out a couple of the things I like about it. Please comment down below and let me know what you think of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Do you love it? Are you wondering why I'd even bother to make this video? Because you're thinking to yourself, Halloween 5, I've already said, you may love Halloween 5. I like it. I think it gets a lot of slack from YouTubers and bloggers and whatever you want to call them. But they're entitled to their opinion. And yeah, so that's my first video on YouTube. And it's very short, very to the point. Please comment. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I apologize for the primitive video. I'm using a very primitive videoing equipment for this. As you can tell, it's hopefully you can hear me okay. I've heard that bad visual can be forgiven, but bad audio is never forgiven. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be making more. You probably could be wondering, why is this guy talking about a film that's on, what is it, 29 years old? 1989? I think. When there's a new one coming out, well, there's a simple reason for that. Everyone's talking about Halloween 2018. Am I right? But I want to make a movie. Yeah, I'd love to make a movie. Now, I want to make a video about Halloween 2018, but I'm not going to do it until the first trailer drops on, I'm guessing, here, YouTube. And once I've seen the trailer, then I will do a video about Halloween 2018. Of course, with the returning Jamie Lee Curtis and the returning Nick Castle. Although we know now Nick Castle is not going to be playing Michael Myers throughout the entire movie. That's going to be, I can't think of the guy's name, but he's a stuntman. He's a stuntman, I think. But he's got a great passion, from what I've read and heard, for the Halloween series, so he should do a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing this new dude as Michael Myers. But let's face it, if we could have Nick Castle back, I think the majority of us would. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching my first video. Cheers, bye. I'm just going to stop this now. I'm very, like I said, my first video. Give me a break. Yeah, give me a break. I'm just kidding. Take care, folks.